Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So friends, the month of August started with Donald Trump being indicted in federal court in Washington, D.C. for his attempt to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election. And August ended with a judge down in Georgia ruling that Donald Trump's Georgia state RICO trial will be televised and live streamed. You know, once his Georgia RICO trial begins, I can tell you that I, for one, will be binge watching The Justice Show, because justice matters. Friends, here's a brief recap of the legal stories for the month that was August 2023. So friends, Donald Trump is now indicted in federal district court in Washington, D.C. for his attempt to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election, for his attempt to deny Joe Biden his rightful election win, for his attempt to unlawfully and unconstitutionally retain the power of the presidency. In a very real sense, Donald Trump now stands indicted for trying to bring an end to the American experiment, an end to our beloved democracy. So friends, now that we've had about 24 hours to absorb this new criminal indictment of Donald Trump, who are the three most damning witnesses, the three most incriminating witnesses of Trump that we see in this indictment? Let's talk about that. So friends, I attended Donald Trump's arraignment on his third criminal indictment. This one, his federal indictment in Washington, D.C. for his efforts to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election. And at his arraignment, some interesting and even unusual things happened. So friends, when Donald Trump was arraigned on his most recent criminal indictment, the magistrate judge instructed him that he is not to tamper with witnesses or otherwise obstruct justice. Well, 24 hours later, it looks like Donald Trump may have already violated the conditions of his pretrial release. So let's talk about the wonderful world of show cause orders. So friends, apparently, Donald Trump thinks he gets to harass and threaten the witnesses against him with impunity. He doesn't. And he also seems to think he can insult his way out of having his criminal case tried in the District of Columbia. He can't. So friends, Donald Trump's mouthpieces, his lawyers, are trying to undermine the public's confidence in the courts, in the judge, in the prosecutors, in the jurors. Well, you know what? It won't work. Friends, here's a brief recap of the legal stories for the month that was July 2023. So friends, do you think that Donald Trump's criminal trial in Washington, D.C. for his attempt to steal the 2020 presidential election should be televised? Well, if you do, I have a simple way for you to get involved, a simple way for you to have your voice heard on that topic. Well, friends, we just learned that Special Counsel Jack Smith obtained a search warrant for Donald Trump's Twitter account. Why might prosecutors be interested in Trump's Twitter account? 2 words: evidentiary gold. So friends, Special Counsel Jack Smith just filed with the court his proposed trial date. A proposed trial date in the case in which Donald Trump is indicted for attempting to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election. That proposed trial date? Bright and early in 2024, January 2nd. So friends, a federal judge just told Donald Trump that his political campaign will yield to the orderly administration of justice. So friends, given what Donald Trump just posted about a witness, he has taken one giant step toward the inside of a jail cell, pre-trial detention. So friends, Donald Trump is no longer just any old defendant. He is now a RICO defendant. So friends, Rudy Giuliani is now an unindicted co-conspirator in a federal case in Washington, D.C., an indicted co-conspirator, a defendant in a RICO case in Georgia, and yet there are still no signs that Giuliani is cooperating with prosecutors. And that is a good thing. So friends, the question we continue to ask ourselves day after day is, when will the criminal justice system deal with Donald Trump the way it deals with every other defendant who is a demonstrated danger to others? So friends, Donald Trump's lawyers just proved yet again that they behave more like assistant campaign managers than legitimate defense attorneys. So friends, as a former president of the United States prepares to turn himself into the authorities for the fourth time, let's talk about why District Attorney Fani Willis actually can take Donald Trump to trial in a timely manner. So friends, do Donald Trump and his lawyers know something we don't yet know about more indictments that are about to drop? So friends, at long last, a judge has finally placed a gag order on Donald Trump. So friends, Donald Trump's lawyers have tried to push Donald Trump's federal trial in Washington, D.C. about 2.5 to 3 years down the road. And now, in a new court filing, special counsel Jack Smith pushes back. Well, friends, Donald Trump's world is crumbling, and one of Trump's own just flipped on him. Well, friends, we have our first RICO trial date on the books down in Georgia, October 23rd of this year, just 2 months from now. So friends, looks like we've got ourselves our first RICO trial set for this fall, October, and it looks like it's not going to be against just one defendant. So friends, Donald Trump's former chief of staff and current RICO co-defendant, Mark Meadows, is trying to wiggle out from under his Georgia state prosecution. He's trying to have the case transferred from Georgia state court into federal court so he can try to get the charges against him dismissed. You know what, friends? It ain't gonna work. So friends, we have 2 big court hearings scheduled for Monday. Donald Trump's D.C. trial date will be set, and Mark Meadows' mockery down in Georgia. Well, friends, Judge Tanya Chutkan just set a speedy trial date in Donald Trump's federal prosecution in Washington, D.C. for trying to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election. So friends, here we go. We're going to have to talk about Rudy Giuliani's drinking, not as a punchline, but how Rudy's drinking might prove to be relevant evidence to Donald Trump's crimes. So friends, guess who just lost a defamation suit for lying about Georgia election workers Shay Moss and Ruby Freeman? This guy, Rudy Giuliani. Well, disgraced lawyer Sidney Powell just filed a motion in her Georgia RICO case. And let me tell you, friends, it is a doozy. Let's talk about that, because justice matters.
it's for sure. Justice matters. Justice matters. Justice matters, matters.